everyone. This is Tim of the Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. It's Monday. I'm all fired up. June 7th. Early in the morning, doing a video. We're talking Giants. I have to laugh. I did a video the other day about Joe Judge being a parody coach, and it was in reference to an article that NBC sports writer wrote about how he's kind of a parody of a head coach. And I loved it because, okay, here's the thing, guys. Don't look at the thumbnail, listen to the video, then leave a comment. Because the video will probably answer the thumbnail. It wasn't me that said it. It was an NBC sports writer. Just throwing that out there. It'll make everyone's life a lot easier. But let's get into the Giant talk here Monday morning. Right now, if you take a look at the way this roster is constructed, there are three areas of main concern. One area is going to be, of course, the running back. Well, no, I shouldn't even say that. I'm not even going to say in main concern in reference to the running back. I'm going to say the backfield. And that is going to be the quarterback and the running back position. And the offensive line would be concern number dos. And tres, to me, would have to be the defensive edge position. We don't have a defensive end. And you can look at the roster and say, we're going to play, like I said, a team of versatility, and we have Ojulari coming in. But you don't know what Ojulari is going to give you because he's a rookie. You don't know what O'Shane Ximines is going to do. You don't know what any of these guys on the roster is going to do. And you hope that Leonard Williams does not revert back to
king of the almost sack.
I don't think he's going to sit there and grab 11 and a half, 12 sacks. I think he may be around 7, Leonard Williams, that is. But it's if you look at the way the roster is built, I think those are going to be the three main areas of concern going into camp. Now, I think we can address one of the concerns, and that's a defensive end position from I would say a low salary free agent position that will have the opportunity to potentially go out and sign 2 guys. Not sign both, but sign one of 2. And I think both guys would be kind of an interesting fit for the team, and it would be a stopgap measure, yes, for a season or 2. But I think it would make more sense for the Giants and give you a veteran backup. First person is going to be Olivier Vernon. Oh, Mr. Vernon. Of course, he was with the Giants from 16 to 18. Had some injury issues. He signed that big contract, back in 16. He did have a good season in 16 with 64 combined tackles, 8.5 sacks, 17 tackles for a loss, 23 quarterback hits, 1 forced fumble. But then the injury bugaboo kind of hit him. 12 games in 17, 11 games in 18. Then his production dropped exponentially. He did have 7 sacks in 18, but some people point to those, and some of those sacks were garbage sacks. But then we traded him over to Cleveland. Now, Cleveland, he hasn't been monumentally healthy. He did play 10 games in 19 and 14 games in 2020. But his sack total last year was 9 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, 16 quarterback hits. He did have a safety. He had a forced fumble. He had a forced fumble recovery. He actually had 3 pass defenses last year, too, which really cracked me up. But he is a veteran presence at the defensive end. He really is. He's also a guy that can turn the corner. He can control the edge. He can hold the run. Not like he used to do back in the day, but he's still a viable asset. He was he did win the AFC Defensive Player of the Week award in the Week 11 against the Eagles. He recorded his 9th sack against the Steelers. And then of course he tore his Achilles. That was in 2020, that was in January of this year. And he was placed on the injury reserve list. So I know he's coming off an injury, but that's why I said these are low salary options. And if he can come back and even play 10 to 12 games, give you some snaps at the edge, and you get him on maybe a little bit higher than a rookie minimum, I think it could be an interesting signing. Now, I don't know where he is on his rehab. I know he would be, like I said, to me, it would just be an interesting pickup. I know a lot of Giant fans will hate it because Giant fans only remember the bad. They don't remember the good. And I love it because people say that about me, that you only talk about the negative. No, I talk about both sides. So a lot of people are going to point out his 17 and 18 season, Olivier Vernon, and they're not going to mention his 16 season. And they're going to point out the 19 season in Cleveland. I remember the 2020 season. But I think he would be an interesting fit coming into the Giants. I think it would be a low salary option. And he's a guy that you can give a non-guaranteed contract and waive if he doesn't come back from injury. The other player I've been talking about, and I've been talking about this guy for a little while now, that's Melvin Ingram. I like Melvin Ingram. I've liked Melvin Ingram since he's come into the league back in 2012. He was an 18th overall pick. He was out of South Carolina. I'm partial to South Carolina guys because I met Steve Spurrier a bunch of times. So I like South Carolina. Steve Spurrier was actually very nice to me on numerous occasions that I got an opportunity to meet him. It was funny though because he actually remembered me once, which is shocking to me. This was years ago when he was back with South Carolina, but so that's neither here nor there. But Melvin Ingram's been in the league since 12, 49 total sacks, 360 tackles. 14 forced fumbles. Of course, he went out, in week 7, with a knee injury. He was placed on the injury reserve on sometime in November. But he's another guy that, if you take a look at his career, he's starting to break down since 19. He only played 13 games in 19. But before that, he played 4 years in a row, 16 games, and started consistently. Not a guy that's going to give you... He's not a guy that's always going to give you that big sack. He's not that type of player anymore. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler from 17 to 19, but he's just not that guy anymore. But I don't need him to be that guy. We don't need him to be that guy. We need a pass rushing specialist who also does have the ability to control the edge on the run. Plain and simple. And I think Vernon and Ingram can both do that. Like I said, Ingram went out to Miami about 2 weeks ago, and Brian Flores said basically the ball's in Ingram's court about last week. So I don't know if he's gonna head towards the Miami area. I would go if I'm coming from SoCal, I'd go to Miami. Hell, I don't know where I would care. I'll always be in Miami. I love Miami. But he's a guy again that can rush the passer, and like I said, I only need him to be a spot guy. I need him just to be both these guys. I just need them to be rotational guys. Third down pass rush specialist. Guys that we can throw back into the NASCAR formation because we don't have that veteran presence on the defensive edge, on the defensive end. We don't have it. And like I said, you are going to be putting a lot of pressure on Ojulari. And I think he can handle the pressure. I really do. I hope he can handle the pressure. But I get worried that if he starts off slow, the fan base is going to get on him, and he may not live up to the hype that we are placing on him. And I don't think that's going to be indicative of his entire career, but it does happen. And having a veteran like Vernon or Ingram in that locker room to teach these young guys how to be pass rushing specialists or just how to rush the passer, I mean, I think that to me would be beneficial alone. Back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s, there used to be guys on the roster, like George Martin, defensive end for the Giants. He was a pass rushing specialist towards the end of his career. He had to start in 86, but he was more of a pass rushing specialist. He started some in 86. I mean, so he was kind of forced into it. But he was a guy that just knew how to get to the passer. And he was a good mentor to people like Leonard Williams. Not Leonard Williams, I'm sorry, Leonard Marshall. Got Leonard Williams on the brain because I played
King of the almost sack.
I got to get back into using my buttons. Oh, I got someone pinging me here with an attachment. But like I said, he was a good veteran presence for those guys. And that's what we need on this team, plain and simple. And I think both these guys could fill the bill. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could subscribe, read that button, you know what that means? That'd be awesome.